Browning just rewrote the rulebook, and most hunters have not even opened the new edition yet. While everyone else is still arguing about which overpriced custom build deserves wall space, Browning quietly dropped 5 production rifles in 2026 that make those conversations irrelevant. I tested them all. I ranked them honestly, and the one sitting at number 1 costs less than half of what the so-called experts told you to spend. Let's get into it. All right, let's start where most hunters actually live, inside a real budget. The Browning AB3 Pro Composite SPR retails between $604 and $779. That is not a typo, under $800, and this rifle will outshoot gear that costs twice as much. How? Because Browning took the same engineering DNA from their premium X-Bolt line and trickled it straight down into this platform. Here is what you are working with under the hood. The AB3 runs a free-floating fluted barrel on a budget rifle with a 60-degree bolt throw. That short throw matters more than most guys realize. It means you can run the bolt without breaking your cheek weld, cycle another round, and stay on target without losing your sight picture. The action is bedded at the factory, which eliminates the flex points that kill accuracy on cheaper production rifles. The barrel ships threaded 5/8 by 24, suppressor ready straight out of the box. No gunsmith, no extra charge. Just remove the thread protector and you are good to go. Out of the box testing dropped 4-shot groups under ½ an inch at 100 yards using Winchester 125 Grain Deer Season XP in 6.5 Creedmoor, ½ an inch on a $600 rifle. That is not beginner performance. That is embarrassing for a lot of rifles in the $1,000 range. Now, the deal breaker. The trigger breaks at 4.88 pounds from the factory. It is clean, zero creep, no mushiness, but that pull weight is noticeably heavier than the DLX system on the premium X-Bolt platforms. For hunters shooting off a rest or from a blind, it is a non-issue. But for offhand shots in steep terrain, you will feel the difference. It is not a flaw that ruins the rifle. It is just the honest cost of hitting this price point. For a truck gun, a first rifle, or a dedicated suppressor host, you are not afraid to beat up in the field. The AB3 Pro SPR is a value proposition that has no right to exist at this price. But this is only rank 5. And wait until you see what is sitting at number 1. That rifle is playing an entirely different game. Now look, not every hunter wants a rifle that looks like it was designed by an aerospace engineer having a fever dream. Some guys want steel and walnut, the smell of linseed oil, a rifle that looks like something their grandfather would have respected. The X-Bolt 2 Hunter is built exactly for that man, and it hides a nasty secret underneath all that classic beauty. Street price runs between $1,099 and $1,249. For that money, Browning hands you a grade 1 black walnut stock with a satin matte finish that kills glare in the field, hand-cut checkering at every contact point, and a right-hand palm swell that fills your grip like the stock was made for your hand specifically. It carries like a fine bird gun. It shoulders instinctively, and it points naturally without any of the mechanical, tactical aesthetic that a lot of traditional hunters flat out refuse to put in their rack. But do not let the classic looks fool you into thinking this is a museum piece. Under that walnut is the full X-Bolt 2 mechanical package. The 60-degree bolt cycles with zero stiction. Browning increased the bolt guidance surface area on the 2 platform so that action opens and closes like glass on ice. The DLX trigger adjusts down to 3 pounds and breaks with the consistency of a quality match trigger. Teardrop bolt knob. flush-fitting rotary magazine keeps the balance point natural in your hand while you are still hunting through hardwoods. Field and stream testing put the hunter consistently at or below 1-inch groups with 5 shots using Barnes Harvest Collection, Sierra-tipped Game King loads, sub-MOA out of a traditional hunting rifle with a wood stock and a blued barrel. That is the part the skeptics never see coming. The deal breaker here is aesthetic, not mechanical. The hunter ships without a threaded muzzle, no suppressor capability whatsoever. In 2026, when the entire industry is moving toward SPR configurations, that is a real limitation for modern hunters who have already invested in a can. If you hunt with a suppressor, or plan to, this rifle forces you to look elsewhere. Browning made a deliberate choice to keep this platform pure, and purists will love them for it. Modernists will move on. The X-Bolt 2 Hunter is the last great traditional hunting rifle, and for the right hunter, the one who still believes a rifle should be beautiful before it is tactical, it is absolutely the right choice. Stepping up the game now, Rank 3 is where the arguments start. Here is where the fanboys are going to lose their minds in the comments. A semi-automatic rifle in a top 5 hunting rifle list, ranked above a classic bolt gun. I know. Sound off below if you think I got this wrong, because I want to hear the argument. But first, let me show you what the BAR Mark IV DBM actually does in 2026, and then tell me I am wrong with a straight face. The damage to your wallet runs from $1,600 to $1,880, depending on configuration. That puts it in serious bolt gun territory, competing directly against platforms that have 100 years of accuracy credibility behind them. So why does a semi-auto earn that comparison? One word: engineering. Here is the mechanic's insight that changes everything about this platform. Every semi-automatic hunting rifle that came before the Mark IV suffered the same fatal flaw. The barrel was clamped into the receiver. Not threaded, clamped. The reciprocating mass of the gas piston system hammering back and forth created massive harmonic disruption and flexed the receiver with every shot cycle, destroying any hope of consistent group sizes. Browning's engineers in 2026 threw that system in the trash. The Mark IV's button-rifled barrels are now threaded directly into the aluminum receiver, exactly like a precision bolt action. The 7-lug rotating bolt locks directly into a barrel extension, handling up to 64,000 pounds per square inch of pressure from .300 Winchester Magnum without flinching. The result: hunters are reporting 4-shot groups inside 2 inches at 400 yards, shooting off sticks. 400 yards, semi-automatic. That used to be considered impossible for a production autoloader. The short-stroke gas piston system vents combustion gases efficiently near the forend, keeping the receiver clean and preventing the carbon fouling that chokes older gas-operated designs mid-hunt. An integrated buffer system soaks up the reciprocating energy, which means a rifle chambered in .300 Winchester Magnum kicks with the manners of something considerably smaller. You stay in the scope, you see the impact, you follow up immediately if needed. The 2026 lineup finally delivers the detachable box magazine that hunters have been begging for since the Clinton administration. 10 rounds in a double-stack configuration. Browning also dropped true left-hand models this year with mirrored ejection and reversed controls. That is not a token gesture. That is a serious commitment to ambidextrous hunters who have been ignored by this industry for decades. Now, the deal breaker. At roughly 7.5 pounds before glass, the Mark IV is the heaviest rifle on this list by a meaningful margin. Ounce counters building a backcountry kit around the lightest possible setup will feel every one of those extra pounds on mile 8 of a steep elk hunt. This is not a mountain rifle. It is a timber rifle, a driven hunt rifle, a dangerous game follow-up rifle. Context is everything, and in the right context, nothing on this list touches it. Entering the elite tier now. 2 rifles left, and the gap between number 2 and number 1 is going to surprise you. Closer to the crown now, and this one hurts to put at number 2, because on pure mechanical achievement alone, on the sheer audacity of what Browning engineered into this platform, the X-Bolt 2 Mountain Pro carbon fiber might be the most impressive production rifle built in the last decade. The problem is not what it does. The problem is what it costs to do it. Sets you back between $3,500 and $4,269. That is custom rifle money. That is sell the old collection and justify it to your wife money. And at that price, it had better be extraordinary. It is. Start with the barrel because nothing else on this list comes close to what Browning did here. Preferred Barrel Blanks supplies a stainless steel core that is then tension wrapped in rigid carbon fiber matrix. And before you dismiss that as a marketing sleeve, understand what tension wrapping actually does mechanically. The carbon fiber is applied under tension, which fundamentally changes the harmonic nodes of the barrel. It shifts where the vibration peaks occur in the firing cycle, tuning the barrel to throw groups tighter than the steel core alone ever could. Meanwhile, the carbon wrap strips significant weight from the profile without sacrificing the stiffness that a heavy contour barrel provides. You get the accuracy of a bull barrel and the weight of a sporter. That's not a compromise, that's a solution. The receiver sits in a carbon fiber bedding block, not aluminum carbon fiber, which maintains dimensional stability across extreme temperature swings and humidity changes that would cause a traditional aluminum bedded system to shift zero. The bolt runs spiral fluting deep enough to pull real weight out of the steel. The entire metal package wears Cerakote in tungsten, smoked bronze, or carbon gray. The recoil hog muzzle device cuts perceived recoil by 76%, which means magnums like 7mm PRC and 300 PRC become genuinely shootable from a rifle that weighs 5 pounds 13 ounces without glass. 5 pounds 13 ounces. Let that sit for a moment. Outdoor Life ran this platform through 59 5-shot groups across 12 factory loads in 6.5 Creedmoor. Average group size across all 59 strings, 0.692 inches. With Federal Premium 143 grain Hornady ELD-X, it averaged 0.585 inches. That is not hunting rifle accuracy. That is bench rest territory in a rifle you can carry all day through vertical country without your knees giving out. The deal breaker is real though. When brass ejects, it has a tendency to strike the rear of the steel receiver and chip the Cerakote finish. On a $4,000 rifle, that is a genuinely unacceptable quality control oversight. It does not affect function. It does not affect accuracy. But it absolutely affects pride of ownership at this price point. And at this price point, pride of ownership matters. Beyond that, the Mountain Pro is a specialist tool. It was built for one specific mission, backcountry hunting where every ounce is a negotiation. And outside of that context, you are paying a massive premium for capability you may never fully use. This is the most technically accomplished bolt-action rifle Browning has ever produced. It just is not the most important one. That title belongs to number 1. And here is why that rifle beats this one despite costing less than half the price. Every rifle on this list does something exceptional. The Mountain Pro is lighter than physics should allow. The Mark IV DBM shoots semi-auto groups that humiliate bolt guns built a decade ago. The AB3 Pro proves that accuracy does not require a second mortgage. But here is the truth that separates a great specialist from a great rifle. A great rifle has no excuses. It does not ask you to choose between weight and accuracy. It does not ask you to choose between adjustability and aesthetics. It does not ask you to sacrifice suppressor capability to hit a price point. The X-Bolt 2 Speed SPR asks for none of those sacrifices. It just performs at $1,349 to $1,599, and it outright embarrasses rifles that cost significantly more in every category that actually matters on a real hunt. Here is where it beats the Mountain Pro first. The Mountain Pro weighs 5 pounds 13 ounces and costs up to $4,269. The Speed SPR weighs between 6 pounds 8 ounces and 7 pounds even. We're talking roughly 14 extra ounces, and it delivers the same sub-MOA accuracy with the same DLX trigger system at less than half the price. 14 ounces. That is the weight of a water bottle. That is what $4,000 buys you over $1,500 on the Mountain Pro. For backcountry hunters operating on actual budgets, which is most of us, that math does not work in the Mountain Pro's favor. Now here is where it beats the Mark IV. The BAR Mark IV DBM is a brilliant engineering achievement in a 7.5-pound package that excels in timber and driven hunts. But take it above the tree line, across broken shale at altitude with an elk tag burning a hole in your pocket, and those extra pounds become a genuine physical problem over distance. The Speed SPR goes everywhere the Mark IV cannot. It runs a fluted steel barrel in a sporter contour, lighter than a heavy profile, cooler under sustained fire than a pencil barrel, with the same threaded muzzle configuration, same suppressor-ready capability, significantly less weight, far greater versatility across terrain types. Now let me tell you exactly what the Speed SPR does that no other rifle at this price point can replicate. The Veritech stock system is the key. Every other production rifle in this price range ships with a fixed geometry stock. You get what you get. The Speed SPR lets you adjust length of pull in quarter-inch increments across a full inch of travel, dial in comb height for precise scope alignment, and swap grip modules between a traditional sporter angle and a vertical pistol grip, all without exposing a single piece of hardware on the exterior of the stock. It looks like a hunting rifle. It fits like a custom build. That combination does not exist anywhere else at $1,500. The mechanical foundation underneath that stock is unimpeachable. The DLX trigger breaks at 3 pounds with 0 creep and 0 over travel. Consistently, shot after shot, in cold weather and hot, wet conditions and dry. The receiver geometry was redesigned on the 2 platform to increase bolt guidance surface area, so the 60-degree bolt cycles without the gritty resistance that plagues competitors at this price point. The rotary magazine feeds from the shoulder of the case, protecting bullet tips and preserving ballistic coefficients at distance, a detail that matters enormously when you are stretching range on elk or mule deer with modern PRC cartridges. Field testing with 300 PRC and 212 grain Hornady ELD-X Precision Hunter produced consistent sub-MOA hits at 500 yards and confirmed steel impacts at 826 yards. The smoked bronze Cerakote finish on the barrel in action resists blood, rain, snow, and abuse, without the cosmetic fragility issues that mar the Mountain Pro's expensive finish on ejecting brass. The deal breaker. Honestly, it is minor. The fluted steel barrel, while accurate and practical, does not possess the exotic cachet of the Mountain Pro's carbon fiber-wrapped preferred barrel blanks masterpiece. If you are the kind of hunter who values the story behind the components as much as the performance they deliver, the Speed SPR might feel slightly pedestrian by comparison. It is a working rifle, not a collector's piece. For most hunters, that is a feature, not a flaw. Look, the X-Bolt 2 Speed SPR is not the most expensive rifle Browning makes. It is not the lightest. It is not the flashiest. What it is, without question, without compromise, without any single category where it genuinely falls short, is the most complete hunting rifle Browning has ever put into production. It fits any shooter. It handles any terrain. It accepts a suppressor without modification. It shoots sub-MOA with premium factory ammunition. And it does all of that for under $1,600. That is not a rifle. That is an argument ender. The Speed SPR takes the crown. And it earned every inch of it. 5 rifles, 5 different answers to the same question. What kind of hunter are you? If you are counting every ounce on a sheep hunt above timberline, the Mountain Pro carbon fiber is your weapon. If you need 10 rounds cycling fast through driven timber with dangerous game on the other end, the Mark IV DBM does not have a rival. If your budget is real and your standards are high, the AB3 Pro SPR will make you look like a liar when you tell people what you paid for it. And if you want a rifle that looks like history and shoots like the future, the X-Bolt 200 belongs on your wall and in your hands. But if you want one rifle that does everything, that fits every body, handles every terrain, runs suppressed or unsuppressed, and shoots lights out with the best factory ammunition available in 2026, you already know the answer. The Speed SPR is the one. If this breakdown helped you cut through the noise and find the rifle that actually fits your hunt, hit that subscribe button. Every week I pull apart the guns the industry does not want to rank honestly, and I call it exactly how I see it. No sponsorships, no softballs, just the raw truth. Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.